Breastfeeding shouldn't hurt. That's what they've said. It should come naturally. It should come easy, but it doesn't. And what if it doesn't? What do you do then? If you're currently breastfeeding and the pain is unbearable and you feel lied to, tricked, or confused, then in this video, I want you to take away why breastfeeding may be hurting and why you need to seek help. There is so much pressure on women who have children to breastfeed. Breast is best, they say. What they continue to neglect is that breastfeeding may not be best for you. So even before I go along in this video, I want to give you the freedom to choose how to feed your child. And if breastfeeding is something that you want to do, but you're finding it painful, then in this video, I'm going to give you common reasons why breastfeeding hurts. And you can use that information to contact the relevant lactation consultant, doctor, whoever. I'm Remi, I'm an obstetrician, I'm a mother of 2, and I've breastfed in pain. And I want to say that I see you and I'm here for you, and I hope that you can find something in this video that you can take away. So when I think back to the issues that I had with breastfeeding my little ones, poor Latch is the first thing that comes to mind. We'd come home and for the best part of 10 hours, I couldn't get this baby to settle. We were day 2, my milk had not yet come in, all that was there was colostrum, and my nipples were raw and misshapen every time I took the baby off. What I then later understood is that it was a poor latch. And this is the most common cause of pain while breastfeeding. So if the baby's mouth isn't open as much as it needs to be, they can latch onto the nipple in quite a shallow manner, and meaning that they're compressing on the nipple itself as opposed to taking the breast tissue with it and massaging the breast to release milk for them. And not only is it painful for you, it's inefficient for them because they're not able to achieve what their goal is, which is to get food, which is to get fed. So the signs that you might notice from a shallow latch is when you're getting pain all the way through the feeding. So they latch on and it's painful, and typically the pain starts to ease. However, if the pain carries on, then that might be signs of a shallow latch. Other things you might notice is that the baby's getting frustrated because they're not getting fed, they're not getting enough milk. Over time, if you carry on like that, they're probably not putting on weight because again, they're not getting this nutrition that they need. And the way to fix that, along with a lot of the things I'll say in this video, is probably best working with a lactation consultant, watching a video about how a baby should come to the breast, where their head's tilted back, their mouth is open enough, and then they take the breast in. But making sure that you're aware that actually if the pain is carrying on, that maybe it's best to engage in some lactation specialists in your area. The second most common reason is tongue tie, and this is what we found out that my daughter had had. So with tongue tie specifically for me, like I'd said, when I take her off the breast, the nipples itself was misshapen. It was sort of very pointy at the top. You could tell like the milk hadn't come out completely. And after doing a midnight Google search, because even at that time, I didn't know what tongue tie was, I asked the midwife on day 5, can you have a look inside the mouth and tell me if you think there's tongue tie? Asked again on day 10, and they were like, oh, we can't see it, but we'll refer you on anyway. And what had happened is when we then referred on that she did have tongue tie, it got divided when she was about 3 weeks old. And so through all that process, I was having to express and feed through a bottle because my nipples just couldn't tolerate the pain. So tongue tie specifically is where there's a strip just under the tongue that means that the tongue is held firmer to the base than it otherwise should be. And the procedure itself was actually really straightforward. With a tiny bit of bleeding, she cried, but then was able to feed. And that didn't actually solve all our breastfeeding issues, but it did take away the misshapen size of the nipple. She put on weight quite rapidly after all of that. So I could tell that she was able to latch and suck properly. And again, depending on the lactation consultant you see, not every tongue tie needs division. The really mild ones can sort themselves out. But if the breastfeeding itself is being significantly affected by it, then it is worth considering having it managed. And like in my case, ask and ask again. Just because you're dismissed the first time doesn't mean you won't be heard the second. So I'd move on to having flat nipples. I don't think this gets mentioned enough, but I know so many people in my real life who have had flat or inverted nipples and found it really hard to breastfeed because again, when you think about the mechanism of the baby opening their mouth, taking a big latch, having flat nipples or inverted nipples can sometimes impede that. And I remember even before I had had my first child, I did have quite flat nipples, brought it up to the breastfeeding specialist in an NCT class and was like, oh, don't worry, once the baby comes, they just pop out. And like, that is a lie. That is a lie. That's not true. And I can think about a few people off the top of my head who've had to exclusively breastfeed only via expression because the baby's not able to latch because of the flat nipples. And there are things that I've tried as well, like nipple shields and all of these things to see if that can help improve the suction. But again, if you notice that your nipples are flat, breastfeeding is painful, the baby's getting irritable, not putting on enough weight, that might all be linked to that. And a breastfeeding specialist would be your best bet for someone to speak to see how you can manage that situation. And importantly, just speak to somebody. Speak to someone, whether it's in your network. I think peer-to-peer support is really important and is something that is definitely undersold, undervalued. And so basically speaking to someone who is in your network that can help you might be able to point you in the direction of a lactation consultant that they've used. Like I've pointed so many people towards lactation consultants because I found it really useful in my journey. Like, was it a quick fix? No, but we're sort of persistent, constant, getting someone to have a look at me, going to breastfeeding support classes where there are other people who are struggling with the same thing. I felt that's probably contributed to why I was then able to carry on and breastfeed both kids. So I have a video on this channel about mastitis and having blocked ducts, and I would advise that you go and watch that video because I go into much detail what a blocked duct or mastitis or infected mastitis can do and how that can cause pain. For the purposes of this video, it's just to be aware that if you do have a blocked duct, a duct that's not draining, you're feeling sort of lumps on the breast tissue, that could be as a result of that. Again, there's guidance about the best way to feed, changing positions, using cold compress to help you with the pain, gentle massage as you're feeding the baby. And if you're then getting more infected symptoms, so things like a high temperature, feeling really unwell, feeling body aches, feverish, you would need to go to hospital because at that point it's an infection most likely and therefore needs treatment by antibiotics. I've seen cases where it gets really bad and they need things like surgery to try and drain off the abscess that's developed in the breast. But that's all gone into more detail on that other video. Things that are not as commonly spoken about are things like thrush on the nipples, which can cause a stinging pain when there is breastfeeding. And then it might be quite hard to diagnose because it's probably typically diagnosed if there's evidence of thrush in the baby's mouth or changes to the color of the nipple. Something known as a milk pleb can cause pain, and oh my gosh, I've had it twice and it is one of the most painful things. Like, it makes me cringe thinking about it. So when you look on your nipple, what it looks like is almost like a white pimple, and every time that the latch goes on, it's just like, ooh, and then the pain tends to ease. And over time, what should happen is that skin that's covering that sort of outflow from the nipple goes away, and then you can go back to normal. Sometimes it does not. The way that it's often resolved, maybe with soaks, do not pop, do not slice, do not use a needle, whether it's clean or not, because then there's risk of introducing infection into the breast. Other skin conditions, so like eczema or irritation on the nipple, that can cause pain. And again, that's not something that we speak about enough. And then over time, when you are breastfeeding, depending on your posture, if you're leaning over, you're leaning too far over, there can be sort of musculoskeletal pain that affects how you feel pain when breastfeeding. So just being mindful of that. And I think it's always really good to get someone, so thinking through your own symptoms and trying to figure out what it might be on this list that I've produced for you today. Things that you might want to think of: what happens to the shape of my nipple once the baby comes off? When is the pain? Is the pain just at the beginning? Is it all the way through? Is it just at the end? Have I had antibiotics recently that puts me more at risk of having thrush on the nipple? Is there discoloration to the skin? Is there rashes to the skin? Go through all of these, and by no means am I telling you to self-diagnose, by no means am I telling you to go to ChatGPT, but why you need this information so that when you're in front of a doctor or a midwife or a breastfeeding consultant, that you can list your symptoms appropriately and get the help that you need. On this channel, I've got 2 or 3 videos that I will link down below where I do talk about breastfeeding and specific symptoms in more detail. I've also got a red flag booklet that I would like you to read if you've just had a baby, so that you know when you need to go back to hospital, which symptoms are the most worrying that need you to be seen by a clinician. If this is content that you have found really useful, or you have a friend that would find this useful, please share it to them. Subscribe to this channel and come back for more. Let me know in the comments specifically what you would like covered on this channel, what you want to learn about your postpartum recovery, because that's what we're here for, to help you recover physically, mentally and socially after having a baby. I'm Remi, I'm an obstetrician, and on this channel I'm creating content for women who have gone through pregnancy, the postpartum period, giving you all the tools to navigate the season of life effectively so that you can thrive and not just survive.